So we're gonna do our ride, and this will be our consecutive eighth day doing 20 miles. And I got a little electrolyte drink with me. So we'll see how it goes. I don't typically ride this early, but today is going to be just a different ride. I need to get it done early because I'm kind of trying to talk myself out of doing it. So I want to get it done, and then that way it's over with. But I got some errands to run today. Got to tie up some loose ends. So there's no better time than the present. I woke up this morning with a migraine headache, and I'm out of pills. So that's where we at. Whoa, 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 whoa! It's all good, bro. What's up, man? You almost saw me become roadkill. Yeah. I ain't pissed about that. Why would I be mad? I've done it. That's why you got him out. Use it, you know? He looked left. He never looked right. And I didn't stop at the stop sign, so it kind of cancels out, you know? No harm, no foul. The only fight you win is the one you don't have. Whoa, whoa, I didn't see you. I know you didn't see me, man. Why else would you aim for me, you know? Don't take it personal. In one of my videos yesterday where I was riding, I told you a story about the motorbikes, and they split lanes, and, you know, they do all kind of crazy things. And then when somebody gets too close to them or almost hit them, they want to hunt them down at 100 miles an hour and bust the side mirror. And look, I understand it. I do. I understand it. I had a motorcycle for a portion of my life until I didn't. You know? I ended up under an 18-wheeler. So I was thankful to walk away. He didn't see me. He cut all of the lanes of travel off, making a left turn from the right-hand shoulder. He was in a narrow streets down in New Orleans, and he had to make that turn. Well, I almost died. But anyway, there's nothing to be mad about. But I can't understand. You let emotions get the best of you. One of the classic quotes from a movie, you know, about the hero and the villain. And he says, hot head needs cool water. Name that movie. But it's true. Keep a cool head, you'll live a long time. Or you'll live longer than you would if you don't keep a cool head. I'm not in the best shape to be riding either, because my head is not feeling the best. But I'm gonna show a try. We got the Ford truck back yesterday, and we're excited about that. And washing machine is still not working, but it's supposed to be a plumbing issue. So and I'm looking at the Everest of clothes every day. But I've been trying to conserve different changes of clothes, etc., stuff like that. So like now that I'm riding my bicycle, I just hand wash my swim trunks that I wear. And I'm gonna have to go to Walmart and get some t-shirts, some more drawers, as some of you say. But it's a beautiful morning. Nice and quiet in Gretna. I'm thinking the wind is going to be favorable to ride, so I shouldn't have too much of an issue from a wind standpoint. I'm sorry about the camera being so low. Let me adjust it. I got to remember to look down every now and again to my chest rig. I've been wearing this chest rig lately, and I really like the chest rig. I really do. I don't like it more or less than the gimbal, but I do like the chest rig. And I think the chest rig has benefits, obviously, because I'm hands-free. So when I was riding with the gimbal, I would have to hold the gimbal and hold the steering wheel and hold the handlebars. So sometimes that was a challenge, but one of the blessings of big hands. Hey, good morning, how are you? It's a good pace. One of the blessings of big hands is you can fit a whole lot more stuff in your hand. I can't wait till Sous Chef come ride again. All right, how's it going? Hola. All right. Can't wait till Sous Chef come rides again, because we'll be able to take some different footage, you know. I guess it's my fault. I do want to finish this electrolyte drink so I could ditch this bottle. I don't want to hold it all ride. I would do it if I had to. And I've been known to chug before the ride. So I'd much rather chug before the ride than hold on to a bottle for some point during the ride. Also, I do have a hydration bladder that I use, but I haven't used it in some time. And I mean, that's just the struggle of everything, you know. If I bring a hydration bladder with 2 liters of water, I'm good on water. But I have 2 liters of water on my back. I have shoulder straps. You know, it's what it is. But if you need a hydration bladder, I'd recommend you bring one, because you have water on demand and you'll never need water. I need to get my horns rewrapped, because they've seen better days. Okay, here we go. The trash can right there. So I'll come back up and toss it. I did not expect riding that way, but that'll work too. We got a few walkers on the track. I don't know if you ever came down here to historic, antique, vintage, old Gretna, and you came to the levee, but it's a nice place to walk, skateboard, e-bike, all of the above. It's a nice place. And I can tell you right now, this ride is going to be gruesome physically for me. So I'm trying to talk myself into being strong, you know? But as they say, you can do it. Why am I doing consecutive 20-mile rides? I don't know. But it seems like something that I could do, if that makes sense. I don't know why I'm doing it. I may figure that out later on as to why I'm doing it. Right now, I have no clue. I might have to put some blue Loctite on his chest harness because I didn't realize it, but the phone went down and you know how that goes. It messed all your view up. So, morning. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. Just that fast, my legs are shot. Alright. Just like that. amazing though. Beautiful morning. I called my boys to check on them to see if they wanted to ride. And today not gonna be a good day. But I'm gonna try to ride 20 miles every day. See how many days I can do it for. And I'm gonna call this the brother-in-law challenge. So I'm gonna tell you a little story about my brother-in-law. He's a nice guy. He really is. He's easy to talk to. He's easy to exchange ideas with. He is not a emotional person. Like, you could tell him probably the worst thing you could think of, and he's not gonna overreact at all. Sometimes you'll tell him stuff to get a response out of him, but he never bites the hook. But anyway, in the 20 plus years he's been my brother-in-law, only one time did I get a response out of him by telling him something off the wall. So he's a real level-headed guy. Well, he decided, because he's a muscle man. I don't know if y'all know that yet, but he's a muscle man. He's into, trying to move the earth one pump at a time. And that's his thing. But when he was coming up, he was not, morning ladies, he was not a real muscular guy. He was like a spaghetti noodle, right? Gumby. But now, he looks like he should be on Venice Beach somewhere. Well, because of my sister's good cooking and her love of the culinary arts, chef, right? He put on some pounds. But he kept lifting, and he just got big. Strong, but big. And excuse me for not knowing all of the proper terms, but that's what it is. So he got real big. He's very muscular now. And for 1 year straight, he exercised for 1 year straight. Basketball drills, walking, a little bit of running, and he slimmed down drastically. He slimmed down drastically. You'd look at him and you would think he's a professional athlete. He just, transformation complete. But I don't know the whole technical side of it, but there's an app on iPhone, iOS system, where it keeps track of your he said, closing out your rings. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But he closed out his rings for 1 year straight. 1 year straight, no day off, 7 days a week. He closed out his rings. And he's got the body to prove it. He's got the body to show for it. And I'm proud of him for that. That was an accomplishment. That was an accomplishment. That was an accomplishment. And he's a better man for it. He's a better father. He's a better provider for it. It reminds me of 20 years ago, my wife, First Lady, hey, good morning. She used to do this little step tape. I think it might have been Denise something. And you step on this little air stepper thing. And she was doing it, consistently. And that's one of the regrets I have. I didn't do it with her, but a few times to make fun of her. I'm like, what are you doing? That little thing ain't doing nothing. But that's just how uninformed and unintelligent I was. Because she was doing cardio and she was stepping, and I told her it wasn't doing nothing. So she said, well, you get on in this step. And I got on in this step and I learned real quick. That was a workout, So my brother-in-law, you know, he's been doing this thing, working out consistently every day, and I'm proud of him for that. And I think some of his example is what I've been thinking about as far as this ride. Now, yesterday I showed y'all the cruise ship, Carnival Valor. It's going today. It's going today. And I hope y'all can see. I know y'all see the twins up there. It is beautiful out here today. I don't know about where you live at, but I know here it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. So I'm kind of approaching some of this riding consecutively with my brother-in-law in mind. So brother-in-law, if you're looking at this video, thanks for inspiring me. Yeah, it's rare that I compliment him, but I do love him. I really do. In my own way. In my own way. So if brother-in-law could work out every day for a year straight, if he could close out rings every day, well, you know what? I could be a little bit more active. But I'm thinking about my next video, and I really want to cook something, and I want to tell y'all a story about that. Man, my legs are shot. And some of you are going to say, well, hey, rest them legs. Yeah, you would be correct. You really would. But tell that to the tortilla lady who make those tortillas and the tamales and the burritos and all that. Tell her to rest them hands. You're not going to have no tortillas. How you doing? I guarantee you that. You won't have that burrito, that taco. You won't have that. But I'm going to listen. I'm going to rest them when I'm done this ride. So, I want to tell you a little story. And I was cooking on a line cook. What's a line cook? A line cook just basically is a cook in a restaurant that cooks in a kitchen with a whole bunch of other cooks. Line cook. So if you think about a line, you'll have the salad or garde-manger, you'll have the saute, and you'll have the grill cook. So you're in a line, assembling, working, doing your thing. Dishwasher's in the back. And I was cooking one night, and we cooked mashed potatoes. Well, I cook mashed potatoes from scratch every night. Butter, whole milk, white pepper, salt, and the volume of mashed potatoes I cooked is not the volume you cook at home. We fed about 400 people a night. So one night I was cooking the mashed potatoes. So you boil these potatoes, you take the skin off, or you take the skin off, then you boil them. How you doing? Good morning. However you do it. And you have your milk heating up on the stove, because you always want to add hot milk to hot potatoes. You don't want to shock them by adding cold milk, right? So I add the hot milk, the hot butter, I add the white pepper, I add the salt. Rookie mistake. And boy, that salt came pouring out that jug. And the bad thing was, when you make this volume of mashed potatoes, you're not gonna mash them. You're not gonna mash them with your hand. You know that little mop stick your mama have at the house, or your mama have? You're not gonna mash them with that mop stick with the little metal squiggly line on it. You're gonna mash them in this big old commercial mixer that a baker would make mixed dough, mixed flour and water and yeast and all that to make dough. So this big old paddle mixer, it's called a Burr mixer. Hey, good morning. And I'm mixing the potatoes in it. And what happens is I put too much of salt. And being that the paddle mixer is mixing, there's no way of scooping the salt out. The salt is incorporated in this. So I walk up to my chef like a little boy who just broke something that his dad owns. And I said, Chef, I gotta talk to you. He said, what you got, baby? I said, Chef, the mashed potatoes are too salty. I messed them up. I took 100% responsibility right there. 100% responsibility. I messed them up. And I'm not gonna tell you what Chef said, but I will tell you this, he lost it. He wasn't professional. But we are about to open up. This is fine dining. This is fine dining. There is no fixing this. The main staple item for the steak, the mashed potatoes, are too salty. So Chef told me what to do, but we had to ditch all of those mashed potatoes. And I'm talking about maybe 30 pounds of mashed potatoes. If not more, it could have been 50 pounds. We had to ditch them, throw them all away. And so he told me what to do in a pinch. I did that, but it included running to a store. And I'm gonna just stop there, because you don't need to know everything. But if you know, you know. And I got back on the line, and I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed in myself because I messed up. And nobody likes to mess up. But the good thing about messing up is you learn from messing up. And now you have the experience to teach somebody how not to mess up when they make the mashed potatoes, because they can learn from you and your mess up. So if you're one of those people who mess up and don't want anybody to know, you try to hide it, I understand that. I do. But you're cheating yourself out of growth, and you're taking yourself way too serious. I'm gonna come back to this story because I have a point I'm trying to make, but I want to tell you a story about my uncle Andre. And I just found this story out maybe a year before he died. So we were talking one day, and he said, because he worked right out of high school, he worked at the railroad company. He worked on the railroad. I got one uncle that wanted to be a hobo and ride the train, and his brother is the conductor, right? So my Uncle Andre was working at the railroad, and he made a mistake one night. And something happened with a caboose, and it was a wreck. They had a wreck at the yard. So he gets called in for questioning, and he tells the head supervisor, he said, it was my fault. I did not do this. And the head supervisor said, okay. And he sent him up to the big boss, right? So, because it was a significant mistake. And the big boss sits him down and he tells him, my uncle tells the big boss, I didn't do this. It was my fault. And the big boss couldn't believe that. He's like, you willing to take responsibility for something you did? He said, that's unheard of on the railroad, especially at this yard. Nobody takes responsibility for what they did. He said, well, look, I did it. And I'm not ashamed to tell the truth, even when it doesn't paint me in the best picture. That was my Uncle Andre. Love him or not, you know. So back to my story. So I tell Chef the mashed potatoes are ruined beyond savior. And he tells me what to do. I'll go take care of that. Now, we had two other cooks, Ronald and Miguel. Ronald was on the grill. I was in the middle on saute. Miguel was on salad, and then we had Thomas in the pot sink and LaRon in the pot sink. And man, when they found out the mashed potatoes was ruined, because they heard Chef acting a fool, you know? So when they found out the mashed potatoes was ruined, when I came down the steps, nobody said nothing. But everybody was looking at me. How Tupac said, all eyes on me. You heard me? So I didn't know what to do. I wanted to cry, I ain't gonna lie. And nobody said nothing. And then Thomas just couldn't take it no more. And he gave me my nickname in the kitchen from that point forward. He said, "Hey, bad cook." And I said, "Huh?" He said, "You heard me, bad cook." So he named me Bad Cook because I messed up because I messed up the mashed potatoes. So that was how I got my name, Bad Cook, from Thomas. Thomas, I don't know if you listening, man. I don't know if you out there. I don't know where you at. But thank you, bro. Thank you. It was a privilege to work with you. I learned a lot from you. And that's what Thomas called me, Bad Cook. So the fellas gave me the hardest time ever. How y'all doing? He gave me the hardest time ever, all of them. And you know what? I took it. I owned it. And I overcame it, you know? And so after I rebounded, you know, from that, it taught me a lot about myself, you know? When you mess up, accept it, move forward, own it, don't try to hide it, don't minimize it, because you'll only grow from it. You don't have to act like a little kid no more. You're a grown adult. If they fired me from it, life gonna go on. They got other places hiring. And that's what that experience taught me. I also got a cool nickname out of the deal, Bad Cook. And so one day, real soon, how's it going? One day, real soon, I'm gonna introduce you to Bad Cook on the channel, you know? Now I'm gonna tell you this, I am not an expert on anything. They have guys, and I learned this when I worked in the shipyard, they would give you a welding test on paper. So you have some humans that could test on paper and score 100. But to practically do the task, the skill, they can't. And so cooking is the same way. You could get into the science of it. You could get into the molecular structure of it. And it could get as technical as you want it to be. And just to digress a little bit, a lot of subjects have become that, where guys get so technical that they don't respect the practical people who just do it and don't know what they're doing. For example, I was talking to a very intelligent guy, coworker, super intelligent. And yes, I was gonna say his name, but I was talking to a very intelligent guy that I work with. And he overheard me talking about when you have an ice chest and you put drinks on ice. If you put some water in the ice chest with the ice, the drinks will get colder faster and they'll stay colder. And I want y'all to try that. Next time you ice down some drinks, put the ice in the cooler, put the water in the cooler, then put your drinks in the cooler. And I guarantee you, you'll freeze your hand trying to get a drink out that cooler, because the water insulates and does something. You can look it up on Google. But this guy that I'm talking to, he's actually able to explain that. I can't explain it in the terms that he can explain it in, because he's a whole lot more technical than me. And he explains it just at the drop of a hat. And I'm like, that's what's up. I'll never have an immense desire to explain it on that level, because I know it works and it works for me. And I'll just pass it on like we do. We just pass information on. Hey man, if you put some water in there, it'll get colder faster than it would if it's just ice. You know? But a lot of experts have become so technical, and then you have the practical guy that does it for a living, and he may or may not know the technical side of it, but he knows it works. And then there's an argument about who's the most qualified to explain it, the practical guy or the technical guy. I mean, they're both saying the same thing, just to a different audience, you know? So I don't ever want to become the technical guy. And that's why I talk with my fake Cajun accent, and that's why I minimize some of my experience that I have in life, because nobody likes, look at that, turned again. Sorry about that. But nobody likes the wiseacre. Nobody likes the guy that knows everything and that can explain everything. And unfortunately, that is, I'm sorry to hear that, but I understand it, you know? Knowledge puffs up, yep. So nobody likes that guy. And it's gotta be a hard life for that guy because you're an expert and nobody wants to hear you. So back to the restaurant, right? So Thomas gave me my nickname, Bad Cook. And I'm gonna introduce you to Bad Cook, but my partner, he wants to do some cooking videos and he's gonna edit them for Bad Cook. So some of my cooking videos that I do now, that's just Creole to Cajun, playing around, you know? But when I start doing videos as Bad Cook, those will be edited, so you'll have the oohs and the ahs and all of that good stuff in the video. All right, how's it going, brother? So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna start dropping them at some point in the near future. But I'm also interested in, if you want to learn how to cook a native New Orleans dish, Cajun Creole, Creole Cajun, let me know. And we'll see what we could do to show you how to do it. Real world, live, etc. But I learned a lot working in that kitchen, and it was brutal. It was a brutal kitchen to work in. But I will tell you this, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun to work with a real team where everybody pulled their weight, everybody worked together. And that restaurant was the model, the benchmark that I judged all restaurants by. For example, they had what's called a server pool. A server pool. So all of the servers that work there, if you go there to eat and you tip that server, say you tip Paul or you tip Veronica, Paul didn't get that money. Veronica didn't get that money. It went into a pool. And based on the hours you worked that shift, everybody would split the tips. I hope I explained that right. So what that did in the restaurant, the servers didn't allow sandbags to work there. They ran them off. They ran them off the job. Like if you had a server that wasn't cutting it, they didn't stay that long, because these servers were not about to work and give great service and let you steal from them by being on their legs, by being lazy. And that pool system worked really well there. I don't know if it'll work well everywhere, but it worked well there. And those servers did real good. They did real good. But the environment produced the best. Tell you a funny story. One night I was cooking, and I used to, like I said, I worked saute. And so I had a certain signature dish that was ordered. And I had it pre-measured in my head where I needed these quantities to do one serving. Now, sometimes I would get 4 of them in a row. So instead of having 4 small skillets, I would take one big skillet and put 4 orders in that one big skillet. Now that made it harder because I almost had to count everything out so that it would be equal and proportion to what a regular serving would be. So, all right, good morning. So one night, one of the dishwashers, he was like, man, why you keep dirtying up all them dishes? And I'm like, look, bro, it's easier for me to do 2 orders in one skillet. I'll do 4 if I have to, but I don't want to do that because it cheats the customer out of consistency, and it makes it harder for me to give consistency every time. But he couldn't understand that because all he was looking at was, I have to wash 4 skillets. So he did not, just pass some big old rabbits, but he did not want to wash the skillets after that. And so I taught him a lesson, and he taught me a lesson. So he didn't want to wash the skillets. He said, I'm not washing those skillets because all you're doing is making more work for me. And to his point, I did. But I wasn't trying to be malicious, but I did make more work for him. And so what I did was, the only fight you win is the one you don't have. So I said, excuse me a second. So he stepped out of the way from the dish sink. And bad cook washed all those skillets. I didn't need him. In that moment, I didn't need him. I just needed a clean skillet. And there was nothing wrong with my hands to make those skillets clean, because I had more cooking to do. And I couldn't get into a verbal argument in that moment, because that meant that the restaurant had a breakdown and we all had to buy into the system, in other words. And I couldn't be the reason we had a breakdown about a skillet or 2 skillets or 3 skillets. So I just washed them. And then I proceeded to cook some more of those signature dishes that fed my family. But I'll tell you what he taught me, the dishwasher. And I'm not saying dishwasher derogatorily at all. I say it with affection. I'll tell you what LaRon taught me. What LaRon taught me in that moment was the most important job in the kitchen or in society is menial jobs. Jobs that are looked down upon. Those are the most important jobs, because without those jobs, the city stops. Without the sanitation workers, the city stops. Without the plumbers, the city stops. Without the water department, the city stops. Without the first responders, the city stops. You need those menial jobs. So in the kitchen, the dishwasher is the most important job, because without him, I can't serve this 5-star Michelin rated gourmet food. Can't serve it. So I said, if I ever work in the kitchen again, I'm gonna be the dishwasher. You know? It's often a thankless job. It's often a menial job. You look down upon until they need them dang dishes. Then you the man, you know? You will bring a restaurant to its knees if you don't do your job. You know, now all jobs work hand in hand like the body does. But when you really think about it, if you have that beautiful filet mignon, medium rare, with the garlic mashed potatoes and a little florets of broccoli, and the plate is dirty, it doesn't matter if it's Wagyu beef. The customer is not eating it. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And that's why the dishwasher is the backbone of the kitchen. backbone of the front of the house, the backbone of the restaurant. Keep your dishwasher happy. He'll take care of you. So through a bad experience, you can learn something that'll make you better, more knowledgeable, more understanding. And that's what I learned, from an experience in the kitchen, So the restaurant pooling tips, I thought it was very effective for the overall health of the restaurant. But most servers look out for themselves. Most, not all. You have servers that don't. Tell you a brief experience. Y'all saw me do a review at Drago's. Hello. Morning. And I went to Drago's and I was rather parched. So when my water came to the table, I didn't gulp it, but I chugged it. And so there was another server who was not my server. Her name was Rachel. Rachel walked past from taking care of her tables, and she topped my water off. And she said, look, I'm gonna bring you some more, okay? So I was like, thank you. So I think like 4 glasses of water later, because like I said, I was parched. Every time Rachel passed, she put water in my glass. And my actual server only refilled me 1 time. And that really impressed me. Rachel really impressed me. And it reminded me of my days, my younger days, cooking and serving and my way around the kitchen, the restaurant. And I thought about it. Rachel was a great server, but she wasn't blinded by, she wasn't a union server. Oh, that's not my table, I can't do nothing for them. No, these people are in your restaurant, you work here, you serve here. One day they may come back if the service is good, and you may have to seat them, or they may be seated in your section. How much better would that be for you? Because now when I go back to Drago's, I'm gonna ask for Rachel. And if she's not working, that's no problem. But whenever I go back, I'm gonna ask for her. Because that's the section I wanna sit in. All right. Her service was impeccable for me. So I tipped my server because, she took care of the table. But I also tipped Rachel. And Rachel got more than my server because she took care of me and that wasn't her responsibility. But she saw past, oh, this is not my table, this is not my section. No, she took care of it. Me and my guests. And I really appreciated that. I'm not the most attractive male on this earth. I can't compete with GQ and and all those other magazines, So when I get good service, I know it's not because of my looks. Now some of y'all don't have that problem. Shoot, before you could sit down at the table, you already got the breadsticks on the table, And look, I ain't mad at you, I'm happy for you. But it don't work like that for me, But anyway, I just thought that was a really good job serving. And I respected that. So if y'all go to Drago's, give Rachel a holler. And if you get Rachel, but the service wasn't good, well, there's another Rachel there, You got to find the right one. This wind is whipping. I'm sure you hear it in the microphone. So I'm almost halfway there. My legs are still shot, but they're still working. hoping when I turn around and come back, the wind isn't keeping me to 2 miles an hour pedaling. I don't have a speedometer on this particular bicycle. I've had them in the past, but I do not have one on this one because I don't want to be forced to look at it. I like to ride by how I feel. Now the bad thing is, if I could look at it, I could tell if I'm not maintaining the pace that I have in my mind mentally that I want to maintain. But sometimes stuff just becomes too technical and we miss the point of why we're doing what we're doing. All right, brother. Now, I'll just say this since I said it. Maybe in the videos that you've watched, you've heard me call people brother, and I call all races of men brother, because we brothers, and that's how I view my fellow brother. So you'll see me talk to all colors of men, and I'll call them brother affectionately, because that's how I view him, as my brother. So it has nothing to do with pigmentation, but everything to do with who they are and the bond that I'm trying to make with my brothers. So we're getting to the end of this first leg, and then we're going to turn around and we'll head back. So it's about 10 miles. We're about 10 miles from home once we turn around. About 10 miles from home. And I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. And how y'all doing? Trying to get it, man. Enjoy this pretty weather, bro. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna do a video soon where I ride the ferry at Algiers Point, and I'll record it and I'll show you how to do it. There's something called a Jazz Pass. So if you download the app for the RTA, the Regional Transit Authority, the bus line in other words, you can get a Jazz Pass. And you look at that eagle. No way. Eagle right there. Hopefully you can see him. How you like that? That's the eagle that passed over my head when I beat my brother-in-law in the race. He's right by the tower, to the right of the tower. How you like that? Louisiana does have a big population of eagles, just so you know. Big healthy population of eagles. He's going on that tower. Oh, he's right by the tower. Yep. He's perching on the tower. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop the bike and I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna try to show you where he's at on the tower. Because I know you can't see it from here. I'm gonna do that. But right in this very spot, right here, this very spot I'm in, when I passed my brother-in-law up, that eagle flew over my head as I was yelping victory from that major feat. All right, so I'm gonna get around this tower and I'm gonna zoom in. Yep, I see him, okay. All right, let me stop right there. Let me take the phone off my chest rig. Man, how you like that? Let me brighten it up so I can see. Yep. Can you see? Right there, right above my finger right there, on that cross member, that's where he's at. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit further up where I'm on the side of the tower instead of this diagonal. He looks like Batman up there, huh? How you like that? Okay, this might be a better vantage point. So he's right there. Right there. How you like that? He's protecting the city, huh? Now, just to give you a heads up, whenever I do these rides, I'm trying to do them in sub 2 hours. That's my personal goal, sub 2 hours. Back when, right before Hurricane Ida, I was doing 20 miles in about an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm trying to get back to that point where I could do them sub hour and 15, sub hour 30. And it just depends, but riding consecutive days like this, I'm just trying to destroy my legs. I'm trying to destroy my legs and just ride. I don't want to think about, all of this strategy and stuff like that. I'm just trying to ride, play 60, be active, and take advantage of the beautiful weather. All right, now. Good pace, brother, good pace. Old man running. Looked like he had a stroke at one point in his life. And he getting it in. Knee brace on, sweat vest on. He's trying to get it. George Burns, huh? To be a kid again. But Louisiana has an amazing population of eagles. And a little fun fact, Benjamin Franklin hated eagles. I learned this a few years ago. He hated eagles because he said the eagle was a cunning scavenger bird. It wasn't as majestic as the wild turkey. Benjamin Franklin loved the wild turkey, and he wanted it to be this nation's icon, not the eagle. Now, I had never heard anybody speak negatively about an eagle. And one day, I was driving in an area called Gibson, 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 Louisiana. I turn a curve, and there's an eagle eating roadkill. And the reason I know it was roadkill was because when I was going in the opposite direction earlier that day, I saw the roadkill in the road. And on the way back, I saw the eagle eating roadkill. And I didn't know they did that for some reason. I really didn't. I thought they only hunted and killed their prey. I didn't know they ate roadkill. But I guess when you're hungry, you'll do anything, even the eagle. But evidently, Mr. Franklin knew that because that's why he published his thoughts on the eagle. How y'all doing? All right. Now, with that being said, we have a beautiful population of eagles down here in Louisiana. When I went gator hunting, I saw quite a few healthy eagles. And those eagles were majestic, beautiful to look at. And we have them down here. Houma, Lafitte, La Rose, Morgan City, Berwick, Chauvin, Dulac, Marrero, Harvey, Algiers, Chalmette, eagles all around there. And you got to see one today, right here in the cutoff. And that's the former Algiers, right across the river from Chalmette. or what we call a parish. I should be pedaling faster than I'm pedaling. So I'm gonna try to step it up a little bit. Just a little bit. Legs are shot, but they're feeling good. Feeling good. My sister wants to go to she wants to go to Willoughby's today. So it's a good possibility that we're gonna do that. That we're gonna go to Willoughby's and let her try some of that live codfish and shrimp, the tater salad, the macaroni. But if I go, I may try 2 different sides. I have a good friend. He has a podcast, First and 12 Ounce. So First and 12 OZ. And he used to do a lot of running. He was actually